And here we go again. Today I'd like to address a question that I keep getting asked by people, and that is, how do I do backups? How do I back up my documents? How do I back up my photographs? How do I back up my application data, my program file, etc., and so forth and so on? It's very complex nature of the question. People think it's so difficult to do a backup. Personally speaking, I have several drives here. As you can see, this is my layout. I have my Windows drive. I have a junk dump where day-to-day rubbish that I collect goes in there. Music drive, which I keep all my music on. My web stuff, which is stuff that I put onto the internet, either through Twitch or through my own websites. I have some movies that I've recorded that I haven't yet watched. They go into the movie drive. And additionally, you can't see it on there yet, but I have a backup drive as well, for even if it's just for today's demonstration, which we will see in due course. So backing up is just depends on the depth of backup that you want to do. If you want to just backup your important files, keep a drive handy, copy them across once a week, and get into the habit of doing it once a week, so that if ever you do decide to do a backup, you've always got the latest ones that you have there. The nice thing about the program I'm going to show you is that it does all that automatically. Now we'll go straight to the website, and I shall make sure you get a copy of this at the end of the demonstration. It's personal-backup.rathlev home.de/index-e.html. I don't expect you to remember all that lot, so I will put it up in writing at the end of the demonstration, and I will learn sometime to do links in my videos so that you can click on a link and Bob will be your uncle, so to speak. Anyway, here's the program at hand. It's a German company, and very kindly they've got their homepage in English. Now there is a lot of information on this homepage. This tells you all about what the program can do and how to use it, and heavens above, there's so much information here, little bits of programming here which you can do in various bits and pieces. So that's well worth looking at. Today I'm just going to work for the beginner, the first user, somebody who's maybe not over the top involved in computing and just wants a simple backup method. So here we are. This is personal backup. Let's click on the download page, and we see the latest version is 5.8.10.5 in the 32-bit, and also it has the same one in the 64-bit version. Now you'll know what sort of computer you have, whether it's a 32-bit computer or a 64-bit. So just check it out before you click on the links. If you click on the 64-bit and you only have a 32-bit computer, it'll throw up an error. And likewise, if you do 32-bit and you've got a 64-bit computer, it'll say, you know, this will work a bit better, blah blah blah. Anyway, let's go straight into it. Let's get the Windows set up. 16.25 megabytes of data. It's called pb-setup -by64 -5.8.1005.exe. Now if we save that, it only takes a small amount of time depending on your internet connection. So there it is, it's done already. Let me just go to my downloads folder, and here is the beast. That's the one we downloaded. So we can click on it and it will say to us, where would you like to have it put? So we'll click next. Now the terms and conditions here, very straightforward and simple. You are allowed to distribute it, you can copy it, you can give it away, you can do whatever you want without charge. So that's very clever. The only thing you can't do is mess around with the programming source. You're not allowed to change it, which is understandable. I mean, Jürgen Rathlev has spent a lot of time developing this, and it's only right that you should honor his wishes that you don't play around with it. So we can accept the agreement because it's so straightforward and click next. Personal backup version 5. Now there is lots and lots of bits of changes from version 7, version 6, 5.4.3, etc. right the way back to when he first kicked off, presumably version 1. So that's next. This is where we want to install. We'll have it installed on C program files, personal backup 5. Next. Doesn't exist. You want to make it? Yeah, we'll make it. Personal backups is the name of it. Right, personal backup. When we click we want desktop icons. We want for personal backup. If you use Thunderbird to download your emails and that sort of thing onto your computer, you can back that up as well. I don't use it, so I'll take the tick out of the box. Backup under a different account. Don't really want to do that either. I'm quite happy just backing up under my own account. If, however, you use Thunderbird and you're using somebody else's account, then you can tick the boxes and it will allow that to be changed during the course of the installation and the running of the program. Context menu. Add personal backup to folder context menu for all users. Now there's only me users a computer, so that would be a wasted time. Thunderbird backups and personal users. The next is file associations. Now these BUJs, RSJs, CUJ and VFJ, I have never come across them before, so the file associations with these files, you're not in a conflict with anything as far as I can see or remember on these particular files. So just leave them as is. It's fail-safe sort of thing. Right, so there's a brief synopsis of what you're going to do. Right, so we install that and away we go. That's it. Ooh, what? And there we go. Did something wrong there, I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because I've had it installed before and I have now uninstalled it. Right, here we are. Create and configure a new backup task for beginners or experienced users. Now you know which one of these two you are. Today's demonstration is for the senior citizens and members of Plugit. So we're going to go for beginners and Start Wizard. We're going to back up a destination on a local drive or Windows network or an FTP server. Right, I'm going to plug in my external drive, and you can see by the little inset when it comes to be there. The light is now on. Destination directory. Right, select a destination directory. Right, so we'll go to my computer. We'll see my little icon for my backups, and I'll also change it because I wanted to put it into a folder called backups. Okay, so there we go. Next, what do you want to back up? Obviously my documents, application data. That is some of the saves that you get in games, and some of the more intricate setup details of various programs will be in this particular bit, and also program data. Now the one I have to look at, just click next for a time being, we'll have a look at because the program I'm using to record this video is called Camtasia, and it'd be very difficult to actually back that up because it's ongoing. But we'll come to that in a second and show you how to take that out. Back up the data as separate files or as a zip file. Now I'm going to go as separate files, separate directories for drives. So if you're backing up 3 or 4 drives, then you can have separate folders for those. Original full directory structure, or you can have one directory without any full path in there, or you just put everything together. Not necessary. I think we'll just leave it as default. Verify the files after backup. We'll do that, and we'll click next. Now this is a little bit complex sometimes. You can start the task automatically, and if so, you can set a task, and you can set the timer for it, say 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever. You can set it to do that. On log on or log off, always on log on, daily on log on. You can set it to be a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday throughout the week. You can do it, and you can set up to 16 of those different events. I can't see why you'd need to do that. I do mine fairly regularly on a Sunday usually, but not always. and I do my manual backups anyway. So I'm going to just say no to this. I don't want to go setting up other I don't want it happening automatically. If I set it up for 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to do a backup and I don't get out of bed until 8:30, then I've lost it. So I'd need to do a manual one anyway. Anyway, that's it. Keep this simple. We're going to click done. The thing is, what we've just done was we've ticked all those little boxes. We've set up the configuration file, and so we're going to just call this my backups, I think. There we are, my backups, and it's creating all the necessary bits and pieces ready to run the program. I can shut that down. We can bring this around and just I'll open it up just a little bit, I think. There we are, make it just a bit bigger. That's it. Right, so this is my backups. Now these are the things I want to record. Right, if I go into my documents, all except tagged or tagged only. I'm going to click tagged only. So it's not going to include the program actually recording at the moment, because I think that would create problems. So everything else is good. We've got librarian, we've got A to Z card files, we have feedback hub, we have personal backups. It's all being backed up. Anything else we need to know? I don't think so. Roaming, that's okay, and that will be our app data, and also program data as well. So there we are. How do we start the backup? It's fairly simple. We click on Start Backup. There we are. That's it started now. And as you can see on the little inset, the blue light has started going crazy on my backup drive. This is a 500 gig drive, which was actually in my computer as a full drive at one time. But I managed to get a caddy. I think somebody gave me the caddy without a drive in it, so I put my 500 gig drive into the caddy, and that's what you're watching flashing in this little inset here. So there we are. How long is this going to take? Usually not too long, but while it's doing that, I can tell you that this particular program does quite an analytical thing, in as much as it only records the latest file. So if you have a letter or a book, we'll just say you're writing a book, Fred Bloggs and his Mighty Muscles or whatever, and you've written the first 5 chapters and you want to back that up. Okay, so carry on just the way we have done so. Next time we run this, it will say, oh look, he's backed this up before. Click, we'll back up a latest copy, but we won't keep the old copy. So that is something that you really ought to be wary of, that whenever it records a file or it backs up a file, it will always record the latest version of the file. If you are a photographer and your camera takes pictures 001 JPEG and 002 JPEG, etc., right up, and then you copy them onto your drive and you back them up as you're supposed to, and then you reset your camera. Next time you're out and you shoot a new set of 001 and 002, it will only record the latest copy. So bear that in mind. Very few people I know actually zero their cameras, although professional photographers may do so. Bear that in mind. If you do reset your camera, then your latest photographs will overwrite the older photographs. Okay, keep it simple. Let it run, let the numbers run. Right, anything else to mention on that? There was a little problem I read about with this program, in as much as it has a problem with character names over 16 characters long. So if you've got a file called Mary Had a Little Lamb, its fleece was white as snow, it's not going to be able to record that properly. I think this is a bug which may be in the program. However, if you edit Mary Had a Little Lamb, its fleece was white as snow to Mary Had a Little Lamb poem, that would probably just about fit in. Oh, Mary Had a Little might be Mary Had a Little might be the extent of what you can go to. Anyway, most files, and as you can see, if I look down this list here, most of the file names are certainly up to, is it 32? It might be 32 characters long. I'm not sure. It's never affected me whenever I've done a backup using this, and I must admit I'm not an experienced user of it or anything, but I have used it from time to time. I haven't noticed any problems. The only problem I did notice on my first backup was that the Camtasia Studio, because it's a live program, and it's actually the file is running, the backup had trouble copying it, obviously, because the data then is different to the data now, and now, etc. So that's the reason I switched that off. If you have a file in use, if you've been writing a letter to somebody and you have Microsoft Word open in the background and you try to back it up, it may have difficulty backing up. So make sure you've closed all your applications and you've closed all your programs before you do your backup. I have noticed as well, while we're on this particular page, the action after the backup. Now, we're sitting here patiently, we're watching Howard's computer backup. 54% of the way is through, but you know, hey, it could be getting on for bedtime, and I don't want to sit here for another half an hour waiting for the backup to complete. So what I could do is actually click on this button here and say, right, action after the backup. You can shut down, you can do nothing, you can log off, you can stand by. I think the program thought I was going to just come out of it then, but it's okay, it's working fine. So you can actually alter that. You can set it into standby, and you can set it into hibernation. You can do whatever you like while the program's running. So there we are. It's working very well. It's slowly going along. Probably need to edit a chunk out of this. I thought it stuck then. For a second. Sorry about the long pause. It seems to be sticking occasionally. Probably long files or big files that it needs to copy across, and I thought for one moment at 57% I thought it's stuck, it's jammed, what's going on? But no, it's fine. It's doing its job. It's over 10,000 files it's backing up. In those few little folders I have ticked there, that it has over 10,000 files. It's hard to believe. And there it goes, 73%. So it's going fairly quickly. Is there anything else to mention? When you go to the website to download this program, as I say, there is lots of help files. There's lots of information about the program and about its author as well. One thing I didn't notice is a donate button or anything like that. So maybe the guy doesn't want anything for it, he's not bothered. But if you do come across the donate button and you think, you know, I'm going to use this a lot, then yeah, okay, does it hurt to send a few pounds his way? As a way of thanking him for this this program. So there we are, we're at 81% and climbing. It's going up quite nicely. What else can I say about it? I do like one thing is we have a all the major icons down the left hand side here. We can end it, we can view the log, we can shortcut it. They're all sort of icons that you'd recognize as well from days gone by in Windows or from new Windows at all. So it's quite nice, quite easy to use as well. Various things, backup tasks, the actions, the tools needed, preferences and help along the top there. The auto backup page on the other side here on the right hand side, we can set auto backups and Windows scheduler and all this sort of stuff. So it covers every bit of usage. We're at 90%, so we've only got a few more moments to go before this finishes. Hopefully it'll give us a clear error-free report, but if it has had errors, it will in fact report on those errors that it's had trouble with. As I say, it did stick around 57%, and it was a bit inordinately long pause, but that just might be me being impatient, etc. So here we are, 96% of 10,413 files. My little blue light's going away merrily on the backup drive. But I should imagine there's a fair few gigabyte, maybe 2 gigabyte of backup information that's going onto that drive while we're talking. And again, I may just edit out a few little bits just to shorten the length of the video here. We're 96%, and it is backing up quite a big file there. There we go. definitions. It's doing the definitions, etc. So it's good stuff. I think this is probably the most thorough backup my computer's had in many a long time. I've tried it and played around with it and done various bits and pieces to do my own backups, but this one is thorough. It's not sort of missing anything at all. 97%. So we're going to be done in just a moment or two. Anything else I can notice to tell you? No, I don't think so. I think we've covered everything. The FTP thing, if you have your own website and you can store files on your website, then the FTP server, you can just put all these files up onto your website in obviously a secret folder, but you can put them on your website if you don't trust the fact that you might not have a backup drive to hand. 98% and still heading there. There we are. Now, it did have 94 errors during the backup. I wonder if that was me messing around and clicking. So, do we want to repeat it? No, I don't think so. We'll say it's done at that. So, it's good. What were the 94 errors? Again, I suspect that it's the application data, the roaming side of it, where it's recording the Camtasia Studio into a file, and obviously the file is different each time it looks. When it did the verification process, it would have noticed that it was different and tried to back it up again. Maybe that's what took so long. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, it's the first time I think that I've actually seen the errors since I've played with it and used it and run through it quite a few times to find that it worked perfectly. The errors are only since I've been using the Camtasia recording facility here. Right, I'm going to close this bit of a program. Save change, yeah, it can do. Wonderful stuff. Close that down. Let's have a look onto my downloads. No, I don't want to look at downloads. I want to look at my computer, and I can see my backup folder here, and we have a folder now called backups, and that's got my program data in there with all the stuff I use. It's got my user data in there. This is from application data, and that's the roaming. So it's got Minecraft backups, it's got A to Z backups, it's got my brother printers. Alright, Control Center 4, that's my printer which is ongoing as well. Documents, it's got librarian, card files, and personal backup as well, very important. So there we are, that's them all backed up onto my external drive. No need to worry for a day or two until I need to back up again, and hopefully I won't be recording it, so it'll go a lot smoother. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that it's going to be useful to you in the future, and that you'll use it. It will answer all those questions people say, how can I back up this and that and the next thing. There's your answer. I will put the address of the website up right at the end of the video, but meanwhile, if you've enjoyed this albeit lengthy video, then please give me the thumbs up, and if you have any comments, then please leave a comment, and I will, if I can get back to you, I will get back to you in as soon a time as possible. Thank you very much for listening. Bye for now.